How many of you have experienced trouble dealing with the voices in your head? And how many of you have struggled being themselves? So, my story begins 3 years back as a first year undergrad back in 2016. Let me introduce a little poetry. 3 years back in New Delhi, I came. Motivated at first, 6 months later, I lost sight of the game. And here's what happened. Bunking became cool, and I realized a girlfriend is what I need. Family took a backseat as friends became the creed, as binging, junking, and monkeying around became the norm. My self-confidence took a drop, and the life, the way I knew it, stopped. Why my eyes weren't blue, my beard not that great, my voice wasn't good enough, and hair a miserable tail. Why I couldn't have that body, why I couldn't have that girl. I wished I was popular. My soul began to burn. By mid-2017, I had either lost or sabotaged everything that held dear to me. My grades were royally down, and my once close friends, for a lack of a better word, despised me. And hadn't my parents loved me, they would have happily disowned me. The invisible mental battles are sometimes the hardest to fight, more so for an uninformed and untrained mind. It's like being pounded by piercing nails, and you feel helpless as you're convinced people can't relate. Eventually, every ounce of self-worth I had ever adorned was buried. In August 2017, I fought with my father over the trivial issue of buying a laptop, which anyways, I just wanted to flaunt. My behavior that day was so marred with disrespect and aggression. My father was moved to tears. And deep down that day, I knew I had failed. As World Health Organization states, 16% of all diseases and injuries in people aged between 10 to 19 years can be attributed to mental health. Simply put, every 6th child you meet who is suffering from some kind of disease or injury is a mental health patient. The average age of onset today is 14. And most of these cases go undetected and untreated. A leading online medical journal pegs feeling of unworthiness as a leading emotional change that triggers depression in adolescence. In this expectation-driven world, sometimes it feels a task for titans for just to be themselves. Going forward, can we do a little exercise? Everyone, I would need 2 minutes of your active participation. Please close your eyes and imagine yourself turning a little transparent. Focus on your brain. Imagine thoughts passing through it as a beam of white light. Can you now transport yourself to the moments where you felt insecure or vulnerable? Maybe a bad breakup, a failed exam, the moments where you may have felt suicidal or just felt utter worthless. Maybe the moments where you felt ignored by your friends, your family, or your colleagues. Maybe the moments where you felt grossly uncomfortable in your own skin, or cursed yourself for being born a certain way. Now, as you focus yourself back to the beam passing through your head, imagine all those thoughts you just had flowing through it. Now, as you slowly open your eyes, dawn upon yourself a realization that that beam is as powerful and as powerless as you wish it to be. In August 2018, my father was admitted to a hospital owing to a pancreas-related ailment. He was taken to the ICU from the emergency, and a doctor came in with some of the worst words I had ever heard in my life until then. He said, if the condition of my father doesn't improve overnight, there would be no surgery possible. Basically, that meant there would be no hope. When I returned home that night, I reflected back on my life, and suddenly I could see it. All the pains, frustrations, insecurities, mental barriers, negative beliefs flowing through me as a pristine beam of light, now so powerless. I saw myself there. I was always there, the still child like me, who adored and admired my dad to the core, who hero worshipped him, the one who just wanted to bear hug him, touch and feel the warmth of his feet, and say that I loved him. I was still there, just waiting to be found. And 3 days later, when my father came back, I did just that. When you go back home today and can see the beautiful faces of your family for one more time, you know you are the luckiest. When you go back home and can love them and receive the same love back, you know you're enjoying the greatest pleasure. When what you are have made or makes your parents happy, you're already living your life's purpose. When you have someone, anyone, looking up to you, be it your children, your siblings, or your friends, remember, you are already a hero. As Ratan Tata aptly said, it's the mindset that makes or breaks a person, and you are in charge of yours. But the clock's ticking. So get, set, go.